guys, this is my first Kickstarter roundup. I have been following a lot of game campaigns out on Kickstarter, and there is a lot of them at any given moment. And I wanted to talk about the games that I think stand out. So I'm going to be collecting them, putting them in a video, and you can check them out every couple of weeks. In this episode, we've got a lot going on, from hordes of undead orcs to tribes rising and a lot of mothers crying. First up, we've got 1066 Tears to Many Mothers, a card game of history and war. It is an asymmetric tactical history card game in the style of Magic the Gathering, but this one is non-collectible. It has been nominated for many awards even before it was officially released, and it basically recreates the Battle of Hastings and all the events of 1066 in the English history. It's a two-player game, but you can also play solo, and it's rather quick, takes about 30 to 40 minutes. Illustration looks very polished, art is quite suiting the theme, and every card in the game is inspired by a real person or event involved in the Battle of Hastings. There is no deck building required, each player simply grabs their deck, shuffles, and play begins. Each round, players take turns to play cards and build their armies by deploying units, characters, tactics, and so on, and by playing events. The Battle of Hastings fights are over 3 wedges of troops, as the real battle was, represented by 3 wedge cards. Players compete for wedges by trying to inflict 10 points of damage on each one. You gotta manage your hand carefully if you want to win, and the first player to claim 2 wedges wins the game. Definitely recommended for those who like a quick but tactical play and those who enjoy history-based card games. For the strategy lovers, we've got Carcosa, a Lovecraftian board game of cults and madness from One Free Elephant. It's a beautiful and strategic Carcassonne-style game for 2 to 4 players. I guess it's best described as a tiling area control game with secrets and sacrifice. The circle of life in Carcosa goes like this. You recruit cultists, gather power, perform rituals, go mad, and then die. And in the meantime, you make sure to please the king. The tiling part of the game is strategic, as you must decide not only what's good for you, but also what you don't want your opponents to have. And it's also rewarding as you build a beautiful landscape. By the way, the box art and the board look very cool. There is also hidden information that is revealed only when a tile is stabilized and flipped over, and adds a bluffing element as well as strategy and analysis of incomplete information. It's a rather quick game. Gameplay is about an hour. The makers claim to have balanced Carcosa to reward long-term strategies over building small things frequently. It also allows for multiple strategies, as there are 2 mutually exclusive ways to win the game. You may form alliances, but chances are you might get often betrayed, which is what you would probably expect dealing with mad cultists. Keeping with the strategy, there is also Minerva, a new board game from Hisashi Hayashi. This name puts a smile on your face. Hisashi Hayashi, the designer of Yokohama and Trains, for 1 to 4 players, and it plays approximately 60 to 90 minutes. Minerva is a unique tiling resource management strategy game that relies on cunning spatial strategy and intense competition for timing of actions between opponents, aka it's a real brain burner. In Minerva, players are state managers deployed by the Roman Empire to develop flourishing cities. The manager with the most prosperous city will be in the favor of the empire and the goddess herself. I would say strategy gamers will most definitely enjoy this game. Although it looks like actions are simple, like you use your resources to buy valuable buildings, you place those buildings into your city, then place residents, gain more resources, and so on, it's in fact full of tough puzzly challenges, and each decision matters a lot. It's played under 90 minutes and it's best with 3 or 4 players. From the pledges available, you may want to check out the deluxe edition that is offered, as it includes a lot of exclusive stuff. Next up is Street Masters Rise of the Kingdom by Blacklist Games. This is for 1 to 4 players and it's a co-op miniatures board game inspired by classic fighting video games. The player takes the role of a fighter, gets the according miniature and the fighter deck of cards with various abilities and tricks that uses to defeat the minions. Your main goal is to bring down the boss. The game combines the concept of a tactical combat board game with the flexibility of a card game. The main system is formed by a sandbox of fighters, bosses, rivals, allies, and stages for the players to mix and match and create their own showdowns. There are 2 modes: arcade mode for a quick game with a lot of variety, and story mode, which links your games together and progresses an ongoing narrative. In story mode, victory means helpful perks, while defeat inflicts dangerous penalties. The game plays in approximately 45 minutes to 2 hours. It's worth taking a look at the miniatures too. There's over 65 of them and they're very detailed. If you're into martial arts and old video games like Street Fighters or Double Dragon, you're probably gonna like this. Moving on to another co-op, there is Escape the Dark Castle, a simple co-op tabletop game for 1 to 4 players created by Themeborn. It's an atmospheric adventure and it's inspired by 80s fantasy nostalgia. Very easy to learn and set up and lasts about half an hour. I think gamers and non-gamers as well will enjoy this game. It has a retro, classic fantasy quest feel, and I personally like that the cards look like quirky tarot cards. What do the players have to do? Well, they have to escape the Dark Castle. You need to get through all the chapter cards in the castle and defeat the boss at the end. But you have to watch other players back at the same time, as if anyone dies, the game is lost. You choose a character and take its unique custom-made dice and start exploring the castle, making tough decisions and fighting the enemies. Looks light, fun, and replayable, as it promises that no 2 games are the same. Another great gateway game is Rise of Tribes by Breaking Games. It's an easy and fast game from 30 minutes to an hour for 2 to 4 players. First of all, I must say the art is beautiful, especially the different tribes. Each tribe is unique and every tribal leader has 2 abilities, giving you the option to choose which one you want to use per game. I personally like their unique dice pushing mechanic, which activates 2 actions per turn. The combination of the dice determines the strength of the action. You have the options to grow, move, gather, or lead. You earn points by building new villages and by creating developments and accomplishing new achievements. First player to get to 15 points wins the game. You could say maybe it's like a very light dominant species, and it definitely welcomes new gamers to the heavier area control games. I of course have to mention the Millionaire of the Week, which is Zombicide Green Horde by Cool Mini or Not. It's both a standalone game and fully compatible with Zombicide Black Plague and all its expansions. It is a cooperative board game for 1 to 6 players, where players control a party of medieval fantasy survivors as they fight to set the land free from an invasion of zombie orcs controlled by the game itself. Survivors find weapons, learn spells, battle zombies, and gain experience. The more experience they get, the more powerful they become, but the more zombies rise to face them. Specifically in the Green Horde, there is a new group of survivors of different species that bring their unique expertise to the fight. There is also new environment features, resources, and challenges. And that was it for today. Thank you for watching, and if you liked this video and you want to see more, just subscribe, and I will see you very soon.